Hello, and a quiet welcome back to the Dusty Codex. Today, our story takes us to a land veiled in myth and the sacred smoke of ancient incense. A kingdom made famous by a single, legendary queen. We are always curious to know where our stories are travelling to and where your corner of the world is. Please, take a moment to let us know in the comments where you are watching from today. Everyone knows the story, the Queen of Sheba, a mysterious, fabulously wealthy queen who travelled from a distant, unknown land to test the wisdom of King Solomon with riddles and gifts of gold, jewels, and spices. For centuries, she was a figure of legend, a biblical enigma, but almost no one knows that her kingdom was real. The Kingdom of Saba was a powerful, sophisticated civilization in modern-day Yemen that dominated the ancient world for 1,000 years. Its wealth, which rivaled that of empires, came from a total monopoly on two substances more valuable than gold, frankincense and myrrh. And they were masters of engineering, building the Great Dam of Marib, a colossal structure that created a man-made paradise in the heart of the desert for over a millennium. Our story begins in the remote, rugged mountains and dry coastal plains of ancient South Arabia in what is now Yemen. This was the homeland of the Sabaeans, a Semitic people who, around the 8th century BCE, consolidated their power into the formidable Kingdom of Saba. Their power did not come from conquering armies, but from a unique geographical blessing. Their kingdom was one of the only places on earth where two specific trees could grow, Boswellia sacra and Commiphora myrrh. These were the sources of frankincense and myrrh. To the ancient world, these resins were not just pleasant smells, they were essential commodities. In Rome, Egypt, and Babylon, frankincense was the scent of the gods, burned by the ton in temples. Myrrh was a critical ingredient in medicine, perfumes, and sacred rites, most famously in Egyptian mummification. These resins were, in many ways, more valuable than gold, and the Sabaeans had a total monopoly. They fiercely guarded the cultivation and harvesting process, spinning tales of flying serpents and deadly plagues that protected their sacred trees. This control gave them a stranglehold on the spiritual and aromatic life of the entire ancient world. With this monopoly, the Sabaeans created one of the great trade routes of antiquity, the Incense Road. This network of trails snaked for over 2,000 miles up the western coast of Arabia, from the Sabaean capital of Marib all the way to the Mediterranean ports of Gaza and Alexandria. For centuries, this was the primary artery for Saba's wealth. Camel caravans, the great ships of the desert, would spend months on the trail, carrying tons of the precious resin north. The Sabaeans established outposts, taxed other traders, and grew fabulously wealthy from this single, lucrative business. The Kingdom of Saba became a nexus of global trade. Its capital, Marib, was a legendary city of wealth, a hub where goods from India and Africa met the products of the Mediterranean. The Sabaeans were the quiet merchant princes of the ancient world, their power built not on steel, but on smoke. A kingdom of such legendary, smoke-shrouded wealth was bound to create legends of its own, and no legend is greater than that of its most famous ruler. It's a story where myth and history are almost impossible to separate, a challenge that lies at the very heart of what we do here. If these journeys into the mist between legend and fact are what you seek, I invite you to subscribe to the Dusty Codex. Before we explore the engineering marvel that truly powered this kingdom, let us know in the comments. What part of the Queen of Sheba myth do you find most fascinating? The most famous account, from the biblical book of Kings, describes the Queen of Sheba travelling to Jerusalem with a very great retinue, with camels bearing spices, and very much gold and precious stones. She came to test Solomon's wisdom, and the two monarchs exchanged gifts and respect. So, was she real? The answer is complicated. No figure named the Queen of Sheba has been definitively found in Sabaean inscriptions. However, South Arabian society did grant women a high degree of power, and it's plausible that a powerful Sabaean queen could have ruled. Many historians believe the Queen of Sheba, known as Bilqis in Islamic tradition, was not a single person, but a composite figure, a personification of the Kingdom of Saba itself. Her journey to Solomon may be a legendary retelling of a crucial trade mission, an alliance forged between the master of incense and the master of the trade routes to the north. The true testament to Saba's power was not its queen, but its capital. Marib was a miracle, a large, thriving city in the middle of a desert. This was made possible by Saba's greatest achievement, the Great Dam of Marib. Built around the 8th century BCE, the same time the kingdom was forming, the dam was an engineering marvel that was unrivaled in the ancient world. It wasn't a dam in the modern sense of holding back a river. It was a massive diversion structure, nearly 600 meters long, designed to capture the brief, violent monsoon rains that tore through the valley. This captured water was then patiently diverted through a complex network of canals and sluices to irrigate a massive oasis known as the Two Gardens of Marib. This system turned barren desert into fertile farmland, supporting a population of tens of thousands. For over 1,000 years, the Sabaeans maintained and expanded this dam. It was the foundation of their society, a testament to their engineering prowess, and a symbol of their ability to tame the desert itself. This engineered paradise was home to a sophisticated and deeply religious culture. The Sabaeans were polytheists, and their chief deity was Almaka, the moon god, who was the protector of the kingdom and the dam. Near Marib, they built magnificent, mysterious sanctuaries. The most famous is the Awam Temple, an oval-shaped complex dedicated to Al-Makar, surrounded by a massive stone wall. It was a major pilgrimage site, drawing worshippers from all over Arabia. But this desert paradise, so brilliantly engineered, was always fragile. After a millennium of service, the dam had been damaged and repaired many times. But around 575 AD, after years of neglect and possibly a final, unprecedented flood, the Great Dam of Marib failed catastrophically. The resulting flood, known as the Flood of the Arim and mentioned in the Quran, was a cataclysm. It destroyed the oasis, wiped out the agricultural heartland of Saba, and scattered its people. The Sabaean kingdom, already weakened by shifting trade routes and foreign invasions, never recovered. Its golden age was over. Today, the magnificent ruins of the dam and the temples of Marib lie half buried in the Yemeni sand, a silent testament to a forgotten empire, a kingdom that was once, and perhaps truly, ruled by the legendary Queen of Sheba.